Life,
Hi.
universe, and everything. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. I'm
Tuesday.
Haley Gray.
I'm
Yeah,
Victoria
Tuesday.
Bentley.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. We're going to be talking about balancing all the things.
Yeah, fairy
Because
tales, unicorns, and what's that other thing?
fairy tales, unicorns, pots of gold at the end of the rainbow.
There you go. We're heading there. Work life
Yeah,
balance. Ha ha ha. We're
right,
women. We're
right.
plate spinners. Over here.
Mm-hmm.
House and kids, job, money, projects. It's always something.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Always. Always, at least, and it's not just like one thing. I don't know how it's been for you in your life and career, but for me, when stuff is going on, it's both a crap ton of stuff good and a crap ton of stuff bad, but it's always a crap ton of stuff.
Well, there's your balance.
A crap ton, and then it's like trying to put, you know, 10 tons of stuff in a
5 pound
five-pound
bag.
bag.
Yeah, yeah. Boy,
Yeah.
and I think we're all guilty of that because we don't know what to say no to.
Mm-hmm.
I think saying no is very hard because you're going to disappoint somebody, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to miss out if I say no to this party. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
can't go to the party because I got to write a paper, or whatever it is. And I think about this and I think I got to start saying no because I'm tired.
Right.
So, what is
Right.
your criteria for balance? Do you have one?
So for me, criteria is figuring out the things that are the most important. What's going to yield income, where my true friendships are, the things that nurture my soul, my family, and obviously money. And it's really figuring out how to balance those things. Where do you spend money to maybe reduce the amount of time that you spend in your business? And what things can we spend money on to reduce the amount of time maybe we have to spend? Where is the highest bang for our buck?
That's an important point. As entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
I can remember somebody said to me after the "gee, you look tired" comment. It's like, well, this is how it is when you've got a law practice. And they said, can't you cut back? And this is the part that people don't get. The profits in the last client, first client, I can work a day to pay, but if I work one more hour, that's where I make money. Or I'm just throwing that out there. But that's the reality of it. The
Yeah.
balance part is just exactly how much money do you want to make, and what are you
Mm-hmm.
willing to pay for it? And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, what are you willing to give up if you
Mm-hmm.
want to make money? And you said, I got to look at what's most important. That was your first thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the money issue? Where's the true friendship in all this? Does it nurture my soul, my family? So we got those 5 things. And for me, balance
Mm-hmm.
is, what do I have to give up if I want something?
Right.
Okay, there are only 24 hours a day. Everything's a
Last I
trade-off.
checked.
Everything's a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
How will this affect my personal life? How will this affect my
Mm-hmm.
bank balance? And I got to decide, do I want to work that one more hour and lose one more hour of sleep? Or, um, you know what I mean? I think it's
Yeah.
pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's making that decision. A lot of people can't make the decision of what not to do or what to cut out of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a diet. A diet's a perfect example. Gee, I want to weigh 20 pounds less. Okay, are you going to eat the coconut cake or are you not? Well, yeah, but I really like coconut cake. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you're not going to lose 20 pounds.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I really want coconut cake. Okay, well, apparently you want coconut cake more than you want to lose 20 pounds. I
Right.
think it is really simple,
Oh, it's
right?
absolutely simple. It's all about priorities, right? What is most
Right,
important to you
right.
is what's going to happen. You
So,
want more money? Sure, you're going to probably have to figure out how to make more money, what things you need to do in your life and business to make more money.
how do you determine this is so everybody is out there or not, or maybe everybody's on vacation and saying, there go Haley and Vicky talking to themselves again. And there's the
I like
cat.
talking to myself.
I know. And I'm looking at
I'm
my cat
perfectly happy to sit here and talk to myself for an hour.
my cat's climbing on my laundry. Please don't climb on my laundry. It's clean laundry and I haven't put it away yet because I didn't make that a priority. What I made a priority is the pond outside that I'm working on. I'm just saying. So, oh, he looks like he's going to curl up. There he goes, curls up on the sweater. Okay, throw on more hair. It's okay, buddy.
This is why my husband does the laundry, and he doesn't really fold it, but he puts it in the clean laundry basket in the bottom of my closet. So we have a his basket and we have a hers basket of clean stuff.
Okay.
And then I have a pile of flirty clothes, the clothes that are neither clean nor dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the joint laundry hamper. Just so you guys know, I'm actually forbidden from doing the laundry in my house because
You
I
muck
screwed
it
it
up.
up. I screwed it up really 29 years ago, and I am proud of that fact.
Mm. I had an ex-husband who, after dinner parties, decided to break dishes so he wouldn't be asked to do dishes anymore. I'm kind of holding a grudge about that still.
Yeah, I really suck at doing laundry because I don't totally get what goes with what, and I can't remember to sort things appropriately and which things bleed. And there are certain things Haley does really well. That is not one of
That's
them.
not one of them.
Precision baking is also not one of those things. I throw things in a pot and it comes out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, baking is science, it's chemistry, and you got to really pay attention. So, although your cinnamon rolls, just saying. So, it's
Yeah.
then about getting priorities and choosing your priorities. And
Mm-hmm.
what criteria do you use to sort out your priorities? Do you use the same 5 things you told me? My family, nurturing my soul, friendships, money, and most important to me?
Yeah. For me, it is, but I don't think that's true of everybody.
Hmm. Hmm.
And sometimes what we say we value is not really what we really value.
That's true. Sometimes we just do things because we think we need to do them.
Or we ought to because the house needed to be cleaned.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or, how many of us, raise a hand, be real, do things because we think we're supposed to do them because somebody else expects us to do them. And
Yeah,
especially the, tear around your house like a madwoman before guests come over.
but that's living in a community. If I
Mm-hmm.
if I live in a community, my husband and I have a community here in our house, and I don't think it's appropriate for me to throw clothes on the floor because he would have to step over them. I think you do things because of the consideration of someone else, the consideration for someone else. I mean, and I think that's a good thing. I think that it's called being civilized or living in a civilized society. I think work-life balance. At my age, I have a very different view of this than I did as a younger woman. And one of the things that I'm coming from, one of the places that I'm coming from, is that I no longer go to the office every day.
Yep.
And so I now choose if I want to have a client. I now choose if I want to have a pond in my backyard. I now choose if I want to spend the money for a piece of jewelry. And um, that makes it very different. And I think, okay, what are the priorities? Well, again, my priority is time. Time is the thing. I mean,
Absolutely.
For me, it's top of the fourth quarter. I'm
Yeah.
not 20 anymore. So it's the top of the fourth quarter. And if something is going to be a big chunk of time, I'm going to really think about that. How do I want to spend my time? Because I have limited time.
Yeah.
And not just because of my age, but because of my lifestyle, I have a lot of irons in the fire. And I just got a message from you saying I'm going to download a video. How can that be?
It's being goofy, I think.
I think so.
You were
So
telling me that you were going to take a couple of minutes. I'm like, sure, no problem. I'm just going to download a video while I'm at it because I was
yeah.
downloading the Wind Talk video from earlier today.
Um,
But yeah.
so I now make the priority of what constraints of time,
Mhm.
and that's been a good thing for me. And do I love it? And I looked at my calendar. My husband and I compare calendars at the beginning of the week, and sometimes we do it a couple of times a week, so we know, where you and what do we have time for this? Do we have time for that? And we went to the movies last night, and we were comparing calendars, and I realized that I would much rather spend time with him than do a lot of things that are taking
Yeah.
me away from home. I just
Mhm.
enjoy company, and I would much rather be with him and doing things with him. Although today,
That could
today,
be its own like fun, but yes.
yeah, it's not always fun. Today was a list of constructive criticism that I thought, huh, I'm not sure I'm up for this today, but there you go. But I
Mhm.
had a really delightful lunch with a longtime friend, 45-year friend, and he is retiring next month at age 76, I believe, after being a therapist for all this time. And you can think of
Wow.
thousands of people that he's seen. And I said, "Is this hard?" And he said, "Oh, hell no. Flip the switch. I got lots of things I want to do, lots of books I want to read, lots of gardens I want to dig." And I think some people are very good at that and other people have trouble. So,
Hmm.
and I think they have trouble because they don't know what their priorities are. And if you're
Yeah.
clear about it, then it's a real easy yes or no. It's not a struggle to decide.
Right. Well, and I think that sometimes we tell ourselves that our priorities are one thing. It is really easy to convince ourselves that, hey, our priority is exercising. Well, I'll start tomorrow. Or I'm going to quit drinking that Dr. Pepper or that Wawa Coke, but it's going to be tomorrow, right? It's that kind of like a priority thing. And what's interesting to me is that a lot of times I hear it a lot from entrepreneurs. Well, this is really my priority. But if you look at the behaviors themselves, okay, is that
It's
really
not.
your priority? No, it's probably
Yeah.
not.
You're saying this, but doing that. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah. And I mean, I see, and it's not like I'm trying to call people out. And I mean, I have done it myself. Well, it's really important for me to do XYZ. And then I catch myself and I'm like, yeah, probably not. I'd rather do these things over here. Whatever these things over here is. For me, one of my things is I know that I need to email my email list much more often than I do because I have a lot of people on my email list and I really should be sending out daily tidbits, daily inspiration, and doing all the things. Only it's way more fun to do Facebook Lives. And a lot of times I get caught in the weeds myself because I'm like, okay, so I cooked dinner, I went walking with my husband, I got my exercise, I got a hot bath, I got my sleep in, I did all these things. And oops, sorry, the email didn't happen for yet again.
I can understand that.
So it tells me that it's not really as much of a priority as I want to make it to be. So then what are my choices,
it's
right?
information. If you're honest enough to say that, then it's information to say, all right, do I choose to do this or do I not?
Mhm.
Now I'm looking at it. Um, it's summertime, and my priority is to swim as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's for me. That is really the only easy exercise for me, with what I got,
Mm-hmm.
and because walking long distance is just not in the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, if I'm going to swim a lot, then hair is going to be in ringlets and whatever. That's so
Yeah.
that's the trade-off. I'm not going to have coiffed hair every day. And that's a simple,
Mm-hmm.
jokey example, but that's a choice that I make. And um, I realized that I have a lot of lunches on my calendar, and that's really lovely to see people so often, 3, 4 times a
Mm-hmm.
week. But then I realized that's a lot of time, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I need to limit that some. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's more than I want to do. And
Maybe it's 3 hours a day of lunching because you have to drive there and then you have lunch for an hour to drive home. Oh, sorry, that was 3 hours.
right, right. So I um I have I have noticed with a lot of friends that I have been lunching with
Mm-hmm.
that the the aftermath of 2020 is starting to hit. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are very stressed and they're
Yeah.
making connections for the first time in a year. I didn't really change my lifestyle a lot in 2020. I went out and I did what I did. And
Yeah,
uh,
my life changed a little bit, but not like some
but not
people.
like some people. And I have a family member who did not leave the house for a year and only wears double masks. And, oh, gee, has a lung problem now. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, you're not going to be able to, you know what? You can't reason people into things or out of things that they didn't reason themselves into and whatever. So everybody's got their own gig. And I think about this and I think balancing, well, here we are. We've all been exposed to a potentially life threatening illness for the world. And my guess is this isn't the only one in the pipeline. And how do you want to spend the rest of your life? And
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's a balancing act. That's a trade off. How do you want to live your life? And I have really enjoyed the simple things. And here's a dopey example, but this is something that has brought me more joy than I can tell you. So my husband was on a 3-week trip with my brother. They went out to state parks and they were hiking and they had this great time. And I decided I was going to go traveling too with friends. And
Mm-hmm.
friend and I went to Florida. And she was making coffee one morning and she said, "Can I get you a cup?" And I said, "No, I don't drink coffee." And she said, "Huh, you don't drink coffee? Let me." She didn't drink coffee until 7 years ago. And this is how it was made for me. So she made a cup of coffee for me. And I personally think it was the most delicious thing I could possibly drink. And ladies and gentlemen, I've been drinking these like multiple times a day forever. And I'm just addicted to going to Wawa and getting a Coke. So now I drink coffee and I realize Mark and I sit down and we have a cup of coffee together. Oh, and I've got an extra added benefit and I can sit and have 2 cups of coffee at midnight and go to bed. And there's no, like, I'm awake from the caffeine. I've been to caffeine boot camp since I was 3 years old and I can drink it. Anyway, so the simple things in balancing my life, the simple things of sitting and having a cup of coffee and talking to somebody, the civilization of that, the the gentleness of that, the listening to a CD. Okay, so other people listen to their iPod. I don't care, whatever. Um, to listen to a CD, to drive in my car somewhere, the simple things. That's what's making my work-life balance so much better. Is that I could talk about how complicated some things are and how much time it's taking me. But I'm taking the time that's in front of me, the little bits of time, like you've got 15 minutes here. Well, I think I'm going to make a cup of coffee and sit down and maybe write a couple of lists. I just bought Martha Stewart's organizing book, How to Organize Everything in Your Life. And I've spent the last couple of months, not every day, but I'm getting there, of every drawer, every closet. I realized I have 100 sets of sheets and 200 towels. I have a lot of things in my house that I didn't realize that I had. And
Mhm.
I need to organize them. And then I need to think, do I need to have all of these? Maybe I only need 20 sets, or maybe I only need 30 sets, something like that. So I'm really enjoying looking at this with a different lens.
Yeah.
And looking at it with a different lens has given me the work-life balance maybe that I didn't have before. Before
That's
it was just, you get in the car, you mash your foot to the floor and you're going 110. And I
Mhm.
spent a lot of my life going 110, and now I don't have to. And it's, oh, look at that. My husband brought me flowers the other day. How lovely that was. And then we sat and had a cup of coffee together. How lovely that was. And last night I sat out on my deck and I watched the stars and I counted satellites going by. How lovely that was.
Mhm.
Me, if we don't put, that little bit of time with God, that little bit of
Mhm.
time with the stars, that little bit of time saying hello to a neighbor, or having my dog in my lap, if we don't do that, our quality of life decreases.
It does. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
It's
easy
so fun.
to. So one of the things I find really interesting about that is that it is really, really easy, and I am a self-admitted workaholic, go 24/7 kind of person, and my husband is really good at dragging me out of my office, usually once a day. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
pull you out, pluck out, go walk, and he'll drag me out walking. Um,
That's kind.
and do what?
That's kind.
It is very kind.
Mhm.
And you know, it's really interesting to me because you know, it's really easy to forget to exercise on a given day, or to stop and put fresh cut flowers in the vase in the kitchen, or to to take time to pull the weeds, or to take a hot bath. I mean, I remember earlier on in COVID talking to friends who have long worked from home. And, for us, a lot didn't change, but we've long had these jokes about, well, okay, it's 9 o'clock at night and I guess I'm finally going to get my shower for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
That's
it's just really easy to let it just slip on
get
by
away from you. It gets
and
away from you. And then
forget
it's a
to
habit.
do it. hmm
Mhm. Mhm.
It is really easy to let it just slip on by and forget to do these things, and
And
forget that self-care piece, forget that, that taking, sleep, or smelling the roses, or going out to lunch with friends when it's important, kind of a thing. It's important to put that stuff in there, regardless of whether you're retired or, you're driving it like you're stolen, like I am.
I'm seeing and hearing about and witnessing and talking to many people who
Mhm.
are cracking up. I mean,
Oh yeah.
and they have been healthy people their whole lives, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
ineffective coping times 10, and they're losing it. And I got a message today on my phone from a very dear friend who's very strong and very wise and very skilled, and an event occurred that sort of pulled the rug out.
Mhm.
You know, it was like Jenga. It was like Jenga. All the blocks fell over,
Mhm.
and said, "What do I do?" And I said, "We'll pick the blocks up one at a time." First, we get the therapist. Second, you get some sleep. You get some medicine. You get someone
therapy.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people who are in this. It's not really post-COVID fatigue, but COVID fatigue phase. They thought that this would be done in 2 or 3 weeks, and they told themselves that it would be done, and then I've got a number of friends who are in this state, and they've kind of hit the wall where they're like, oh my gosh, it's not over. It's not completely going to end there. It's not like going to be completely solved and poof, it's going to magically all go away, because there's been this like wishful thinking that, well, it's just all going to resolve itself. As soon as, something magical happens, it's going to disappear.
Right. Not when there's a lab that it came out of and there are a whole lot more viruses in that lab. This is a new way of thinking about life. We don't know what's on the other side of that bio level 4.
And lots of viruses like to mutate themselves.
Yeah.
Inherently unstable. Even without a lab doing whatever, viruses like to mutate. That's what they do. That's why we have a new flu strain every year. That's why RSV is a thing. That's why we have, some of these things. And I think we forget that shingles and chickenpox and all these things have been going on for a very, very long time. We're humans.
So I went to a wedding. Hi, Tish. Hi, Vika. I went to a wedding the other day, and it was a small wedding, 60, 70 people. We're not talking about cast of hundreds. And I was surprised. And it was a relaxed wedding. I mean, it was kind of a hippie wedding. It was nice. It was, ivy in your hair and daisies. But this is what was sitting in front of me.
I can't see it. You need to go that way with it.
Get it there.
Go it the other way.
Can you?
Other way.
Other way. Can you see that?
Other way. A little bit more. Oh, nice ears.
Yeah. And I thought, so I watched, and I sat at a table of 20-somethings who were engineers and very interesting and talkative. And I said, what's with the elf? I mean, usually you go to a wedding and you wear a suit, or you wear a nice dress, or you wear heels. No, she had on knee socks and elf ears and
self-expression.
Yeah. And I thought, people are, so the engineers said, yes, there's a lot of role playing in my generation. And they told me about people wearing tails, not like top hat and tails, but like
a tail,
a pet raccoon tail. And I had no idea that
that's the thing,
that how people are coping out there. And I thought, yeah, it's
a little bit of escapism, right?
Cosplay. More than that. Yeah, I forget what the tail people were called. There's a name for them. But I was really surprised at you bring that out in public, that you think that dressing like an elf with your plastic ears and your little basket and striped socks like Pippi Longstocking and these little elf shoes, that's appropriate wedding wear. And I thought, people are slipping gears here, and it's not one person at a wedding. It's all kinds of people, like my friend today, and people are displaying it in all kinds of ways. And I think, like we said, it is a lack of balance. It is a lack of
Well, and I think that there's just an inherent like stress level inherent going on right now.
Yes.
You know, it's like boiling a frog.
Amen.
You know, if you put a frog in boiling water, it's going to jump out. But we're kind of like that poor frog that you have put in a big pot of water and then slowly turned the heat up. And I mean, we've been sitting here at a roiling boil for 18 months now. And it's really no wonder that, you know, some of our eggs are cracking.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are going to turn to coffee. Some of them are going to turn to hard-boiled eggs, and some of them are going to turn to spaghetti.
Put on elf ears. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really, you know, and this is part of that balance and finding our way.
There you go.
Right now, you know, that self-care, that extreme self-care, but making that part of our daily lives is so important.
So imperative if you're going to survive.
I would not be in the position I'm in now had I not 3 years ago started putting myself first and losing weight and exercising and doing all the things. I would not mentally or emotionally be where I am now. Mm-hmm. You have to put yourself first. You have to put that care first. And not everybody has that luxury of doing that.
You know, should there be an emergency, put your oxygen on first and then the child with you. And if you have 2 children, put it on the one with the most promise. I had a flight attendant say that, and I laughed so hard. I just
put it on the one you like the best.
Yeah, I just get out of the way. I've got to go to the ladies' room. I'm sorry, ma'am. You have to sit down. We're taking off. I don't care. Stop being funny. I'm losing it. But I think all of the stuff that we're talking about is because people have not considered balance, priorities, what's important. And
it's hard.
Scared. Oh, it is hard. It is hard. And it also takes maturity too. I don't want to look at some of this stuff. Well, you're going to have to. If you don't, you're going to end up wearing elf ears to a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know, to some extent, you know, wearing elf ears to the wedding is the least of the concerns. It's the person who jumps off the side of a bridge.
Yeah.
You know, who doesn't go through the elf ear wearing stage and the self-expression stage, who silently gets to that point where they're jumping off of a bridge.
Mm-hmm. And there's a whole lot of that going on.
Mm-hmm.
Whole lot of.
And a lot of mental health going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm seeing it in a lot of professionals who are just, there has been no balance. Medical professionals, there's been no balance for a year and a half. It's happening
in a lot of industries. My husband's company is making them take days off because productivity has actually increased too much. They're having company days, like mandated, everybody is taking off this day kind of a thing, because what do a bunch of computer programmers do when they're locked up at home? Oh, they work 20 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So it's not the same thing as your medical professionals who have had that unrelenting, you know.
It's a thing. It still is the thing of lack of work-life balance.
Absolutely.
I think it's great.
And when your work, like mine, is, I mean, I'm in the dining room, so I'm here. You know, I'm 20, 30 feet from my bedroom. You know, I get up in the morning, I get dressed, I totter through the kitchen, I grab a glass of protein, and then I, you know, wander into my office. And it's really comfortable in my office. You know, I've built an environment that I want to hang out in. So what do? I'm in my office all the time. And it can lead to, you know, a lot of frustration because, you know, it's just really easy to be in your office all the time. And my husband's been working from his recliner since February of last year, you know. So, you know, he doesn't even have 20 feet between the bed and his recliner.
Wow. That's not seeing a whole lot of light of day.
Well, he does. He actually goes out and he exercises every day and he does quite a few things. But, it could lead to a situation where you're not seeing very much light of day at all.
Yeah.
Really fast.
If you don't have good balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a great topic. I'm glad we talked about it. There's a
Yeah, me
lot
too.
of food for thought here. And
it's not easy.
It's self-care, and you've got to put yourself first. And it
Nobody
is
else
the right
will.
thing to do. It isn't the selfish thing to do. If you're going to have the skills to take care of others, take care of your family, you've got to put yourself first. Because if you fall apart, then everybody's got nothing.
If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
There you go.
The whole household falls apart. Whether you've got kids or not. I mean,
happy wife, happy life.
There you go.
So.
Thank you for joining me. This is always so much fun. And thank you guys for watching tonight.
Yeah,
I hope it's giving, some food for thought. Take care of yourselves. Put yourself first. You're not being selfish. And that goes for you, Victoria. Taking care of little ones is draining and exhausting.
Yeah.
It's tough stuff.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Love y'all.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.